Wow, how can I actually compete with you? It's, I cannot sing. Actually, I was planning to bring my bagpipes just to wake you up. It was like, when I woke up this morning, I was like, no, I cannot handle it myself probably, so I don't do that. And actually, it was so early this morning when I woke up, it was even dark, which never happens. You know, I'm an artist, so I always wake up late. Or when I have to do a workshop at an elementary school or something, because they also start early. So, but yeah, it's nice to be here. As I said, I'm Maarten Bel. I'm an artist, etc. That's very good, actually. I don't just keep that in mind. Let me check this. Ah, that's me. Is this the stage? Can I just walk here and can I stand here? I don't know with the camera how that works. I once did a TED talk like years ago and I have like one square meter, and because of the camera I couldn't move, but I always walked, so it was very hard for me. This is me and my cat Willy. Probably she's still asleep because she just keep me awake the whole night, as always. Here. Oh. No, she looks cute, but she's terrible. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just start. Yeah. It's I was quite late with making all the slides, so it might be look a bit random, but yeah, I'm an artist. I graduated in 2011 from my BA in Breda, Fine Arts, and I did a master at the Pietsvaart. Graduated 2014, and I have hobbies like swimming. This is at the David Lloyd, which I was kicked out some months ago. I did a, yeah, it was because the thing is that I was actually quite annoyed by people like adult men that keep on wearing their underwear and their swimming trunks. So I was like, okay, I can do that too. So I just did that. But I played water polo for almost 20 years, so I always swim in Speedo. So then it looks like this. Yeah. No, but it was not the reason that I got kicked out. But I wrote a poem, and I put the poem in the dressing room, and the poem was about Sinterklaas, because it was December, and he visited the pool, and then he just noticed this thing, so he was not very happy with it. But the David Lloyd wasn't happy either, so they suspended me for a day. It was kind of cool. So this is my studio. My studio is in Rotterdam West at the Keilenwerf. So this is a sort of the office, and this is a very bad picture of the workshop downstairs. Yeah, I was just like, let's start with some projects I finished. This is a project I finished at the Frans Hals Museum this month actually. It's a workshop for kids about practically all kind of things, art, making art, how to walk through a museum. And it's a new museum built inside the existing Frans Hals Museum, but then with cool art. So, so that's kind of a thing. And this is I was surprised. I posted it on Instagram. I never had so many likes before. Like, this is the trick. Yeah. I immediately posted on my website, like, okay, that might help. Like an animated GIF. Now this is a workshop I did it already last year for kids, but I did it last weekend as well at the Stedelijk Museum in Amsterdam. And the workshop was about building your own astronaut suit. And then we were actually visiting planet Earth as if we had never been before, so we had kind of like missions and to do research about it. So yeah, this was the smallest member. Shall we do it one more time? Okay. Oh. He didn't say anything, he was just like walking around like this the whole time. Like, I've never been here before on this planet. Yeah. Okay, it isn't getting better than this, but yeah. So I do, as I said, I do all kind of stuff. I make installation, do performances, workshop. Lately I'm doing a lot of things with kids as well, like workshops. So this is my website, you can have a look afterwards if you want to. And what I kind of like, what kind of work do I make? It's often about things that I experience, like daily life things, and I translate them into different works. And for me, it's always important that it can kind of be, it's kind of like understandable for more person, and then that people can also experience it on their own kind of like level of knowledge. So even my mother can understand it, but like a highly intelligent person that works at the WTW or something can also put it in a bigger context or perspective. So this is a work that I made some years ago. Actually, I sold it to an old lady. It's cool. And but this can be a work. It was about a period in my life. It didn't go that well. Probably you recognize it. And then I had this thought, like, okay, I feel so worse, but like, I'm so happy that I can, if you can still die, or if you not, like, that's like kind of like a good thing. So it's like, then I make this work. And this summer I did performances at the Theater Festival, the Parade, in collaboration with 2 other guys, and we did different performances there. We just developed 10 different performances, sometimes together, sometimes alone. And this is a planned performance. It's a collaboration actually with someone else, David Attenborough. We built this performance. We made this performance, and it was just like, he did like the voiceover, and I was kind of like, here I'm kind of like, I just ate a fly. That's why I just like it. And this poison coming out of my mouth. This is something else I made, which is a nice link because it's, the plant and the tree. It's a camouflaged tree. Actually, I really had this idea for a long time. So it's not Photoshop. It's like real, like with chalk paint. So the tree don't die or anything, I think. So, yeah, it's hard to find now. Yeah. So something else I made is this is it's inspired on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You probably know it. I think that we had it in Rotterdam, but I think it's gone now. I think I read it on nu.nl. So I made a kind of like another version of it in my own neighborhood with all the pets in the neighborhood. So I just went to all the just in like I did a small note through every mailbox. Like, okay, come over with your pet that day. I'm there because I'm making a pet walk of fame. So it's so this Dani, it's a dog. Oh. This Yus, it's a hamster with 3 legs. Yeah. But he died. And well, actually, he first had an accident because that's why he has like 3 legs. This kind of like spinning rat. And I think one of his legs got stuck in the... So that's why he lost one of his legs. So, but it was kind of like a cool thing to have it like in a pet walk of fame, right? Like, okay. But then, during the opening... Oh, this is a... Spiker. But then during the opening, Hughes died. So during the opening, we also did a memorial. So like, that's Hughes. So, this is nice with the English people that are here. This is Engels for beginners, so English for starters. I made this quite recently, I think. So on the left side is the Dutch word, and on the right side the English word. Can I have a look at it? And it's not a copy, I just drew the drawing every time again. It's getting more exciting here, wait. Cool. Yeah. Cool. That's nice. Yeah, this was just to give you kind of like an impression of the things that I do. But it's about symmetry, right? So I was thinking about symmetry, and I think actually it's quite important in the practice I have. And this is quite an old project after my graduation in 2011. It's called The World's World. It's a book where I published hand-drawn maps and I've invited people all over the world to draw a map from memory. So I just, when I was traveling, or people I already know in other countries, and just like with the question, one question like, can you draw me a map without looking at an existing map? And then of course all these kind of like super subjective maps started to appear. Yeah. And that. This was actually a refugee from Somalia, and it was actually quite beautiful because Somalia is east of Africa, I think, yeah, east coast. And he came here by boat, so I was really convinced, actually in the first place, that like Europe would be kind of on the right side of Africa. But then after it was like, okay, no, it's America. I don't know why he thought that, but yeah. Or people that live in mountainous areas always draw all the mountains in the world. That's something that Dutch people would never do that. No. Yeah. We are here. We're in Denmark now. Right? Yeah. Talking about symmetry. Yeah. So, yeah, and then I graduated in 2014 from the Piet Zwart. And we had a graduation show in tent here at Witte de Wit. And I built my own bar, Café Bel. And I ran a bar for the summer. And actually, if you talk about symmetry again, I think what is interesting for me is that I more starting to realize that I'm kind of like using sort of like popular structures, or people. It's kind of like that people know how to relate to something like a bar, because if you go to a bar, you know, you get a drink, or you have to like talk to people, or sometimes there's a band. So you have this kind of like hardware. If you're kind of like building something like that, or you're going to a place like that. And for me, it's very interesting to play with that thing, because it's kind of like a way to that people or my audience get familiar with kind of like an installation. Because often, like if you go to art, it's kind of like I feel like a distance, or it's hard to kind of like how to relate it to that. So I just build a bar, because everybody, well, most of the people like to go to a bar, for example. And then of course I slowly starting to change elements in the bar. So this is another location I did 2-3 times also at the Rotterdam Art Fair. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So there are all kind of like different experiences, performances. There was music. I invited people to just produce artworks for the bar, and then, for example, I don't have a laser. And the drinks were served in a sock. Oh yeah, you can see it here. Speciale Onrust. Very nice band. Also maybe for here in the morning. Yeah. That's one. Yeah. Okay. And then maybe some people have been at the Art Rotterdam last year, not this year, but the year before. No? Good, your status, yes. I made an installation talking about kind of like going, kind of like, what I really like is like, kind of like changing kind of like my shape, or kind of, in a way to kind of almost like go undercover and like to play with the structure of expectations. So I made this installation at the Art Rotterdam called Get a Pet Instead. And it's about, actually I was questioning the integrity of the art buyer. So I did a collaboration with the animal shelter. Like this is the Van Nelle Fabriek. And, oh wait, I have a better picture. Yeah. And there's the Schiede River, and then there's the animal shelter. So I did a collaboration, and I'm just trying to convince people not to buy art, but just get a pet instead from the animal shelter. So it was kind of like a moral question to the visitor. So I just like, kind of like made this catalog with all the animals, with a nice picture. Like this baby, and we also make nice pictures with a photographer. And the description, I actually made cookies that can be eaten by animals and humans. It tastes disgusting. Yeah, but if you're just sitting there at the whole day in a booth, you're kind of like, you eat them anyway, so, yeah. And then 3 times a day we did a tour, and then we were visiting the animal shelter with the people that were interested in not buying art, but a pet. So that was kind of like nice too. And these steps, like what is it, kick bikes? Yeah. And we just walked over the art fair, which is cool because all the gallery owners get annoyed. Definitely when you're kind of like going fast. And then we were visiting the animal shelter. Oh, so cute. It is nice. So everybody felt very bad when they came back at the art fair. So that's nice. Yeah. So I actually want to show some work I brought on my bike this morning. It was one of the reasons I didn't bring my bagpipe. Like 1 box is enough. Since my graduation in 2011, I started making books every month just to kind of like archive my ideas, because I first always was just like making all the notes or like writing the notes or making sketches and just put them on my wall. But then my wall was full, so I had to find another way to archive my ideas. So I can just show them around. Oh. Don't keep them. I already lost a couple. Yeah, that was in Eindhoven. I hate that city. So I can throw them. Shall I try? No? Okay. Maybe here. So it's always how I work, because I really like ideas. It's very hard to come up with an idea, and to breaking structures of your own thinking. So it's way easier to just archive these ideas that you have all the day, and then I'm sorry, I'm out of the box. Sorry? Did you go back to the book? Yeah, absolutely. I always, when I get an invitation or working on a new project, it's super easy, just like browsing through the books, and then just getting the right ideas to, and because you have kind of like a good starting point for something. So, for example, like with the astronaut suit, actually was an idea that I already had like for 5-6 years ago. Like, okay, maybe I have to like rent an astronaut suit and walk around the planet. Maybe I can look different, and then the idea can just mature, and then in the end I can use it, for example, for a workshop.
So how much time do you spend on a book?
Well, I have an intern, so he's always making the book. Yeah, sorry. And then, well, not that one. Then I still had time, so I was like, can make books like this. But then I feel it myself. So it's just like looking back in my sketchbooks or pictures or anything, and then, yeah. Any shocking things in it? Niet tijdens het pissen. Yeah, don't do that. Oh. I'll just continue a bit. Oh yeah, this is the bagpipe element. Now I should play bagpipes to wake you up. But I also want to do kind of like a small exercise. As I said, I'm also doing a lot of workshops. And I've been teaching at the Hogeschool for a couple of years. I just stopped now because I'm too busy with my own practice. And I also, as I said, I also do like a lot of like educational projects. So this is a project I did For schooltv, probably Dutch people know it. It's about creative thinking. It's a six episodes, and every episode has its own theme about creative thinking. So it's like, maybe it's nice to do some exercises as well. And I also have a prize. Ooh, you can actually win something. Oh, this is the cat in the show. And I always lie to all the kids because they always ask me, how's Wolfgang? And I'm like, yeah, he's sleeping. But it's not my cat. It's just like a TV cat. Yeah. Okay. So the prize is, I actually, with the books that you have now, I published this book, which is about the books. And the book is called Books. Yeah, obvious. And it's about the first 5 years. So, can you just talk? No. So they're like different, from different books, kind of like, sort of like an overview. So you can win this. And if you don't win it, I have more books, you can buy it. They're like special price for 10 euros now. No, they're always 10 euros. So, okay, I was thinking do some creative thinking or do kind of like a small workshop first, and then you have like 3 minutes to come up with an idea, and then I pick out the best idea and that wins the book. That's correct? Okay, every time I lost this thing, yeah. Oh yeah, the problem is, I was like, it's nice with the croissant, is that like the crumbs of the croissant are always everywhere? Yeah, and if you don't have a cat, you have to clean up yourself. So we are going to solve like a solution for this, but I first help you with some different techniques that also come back in the schooltv series. For example, is inleven, like just think from the perspective from someone else. So how would a carpenter like solve the problem? Does anyone have an idea with a croissant thing?
It would have a vacuum cleaner, which is attached to a saw. And
very nice.
To
You're good. And a journalist?
So take a picture and sell it.
That's good. And then? And then he rents a cleaning lady, or sorry, cleaning person. And then, yeah. Oh, that's good. And musician? Blow them away. Very nice. Okay, so that's, for example, that's one of the techniques you can use to solve a problem. Or actually, you can just use random elements. I always do when I just want to solve something. I often go to the action or the so low. That's my new favorite store. With all this crap, and then you just have this idea in the back of your mind or the problem, and you just like making connection with random objects to in order to solve the problem. So how could a banana solve the problem with the croissant? I don't eat a banana instead, I would say. Yeah. And what is it? An empty bottle of wine? Anyone?
Soak it in your wine. And you don't have crumbs.
Very good. Oh, you're good. And maybe one more with the tape. See? Oh yeah, that's cool. Like a sticky plate.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. And then the other is, I think that's one of the most important techniques actually. It's about, I think we are often kind of like afraid to fail. And I think in the creative process it's super important that you're kind of like, definitely in the beginning that you're kind of like open to it. And I have an example of a story I heard once. This is a seal, or it was a seal, covered in oil. And actually this really happens. Like some years ago, Shell again spilled like a lot of oil in the sea, and they had to solve the problem. So they asked a group of researchers to solve the problem. So what they did is just starting to, think about it and brainstorming. And then after a while, one said like, what if we just take the seals, because they have this kind of like furry skin, just dip them in the oil, and then just, what is uitwringen? Wring them out, and then we can get the sea clean. And of course you say, no, we cannot do that, that's a poor seal and stuff like that, and they're hard to catch. So it's not a good idea. But actually, bad ideas are often kind of like interesting because you get an idea not just because you get it like, I don't know, out of nothing. I think there's a reason why you get an idea, even bad ideas. So what someone else said, okay, maybe if you not use the seal to suck it up, but if you make big sponges and let them float in the sea and they can suck up the soil, so we can clean the sea. So it's kind of like almost the same idea, but just changing it a bit. Yeah, well. So that's the short workshop, and now we can start. Maybe you can just. Do you want to do it in groups, or let's say 3 minutes? Is it okay? I don't have a timer. So this is the prize. So and the problem is the thing with the croissant. So if you just have 3 minutes, and then if you have like an idea, just let me know after the 3 minutes, and then I just pick out the best idea. That's cool, right? Okay. Okay, it was very close. They were all brilliant. But 2 were very brilliant. We just doubt between the beard and the dog comb thing. And do you want to say it? Otherwise they are like angry with me.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
say it.
The winner is
The dog thing.